Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Probably I should be welcoming myself back because I've not been doing videos for some time now, and I apologise for that. You know how life is, sometimes you just need a break, and unfortunately without making a video I wasn't really able to effectively communicate my decision to leave alone for a while. The reason that you're seeing old footage from the original roadmap trailer at the moment is an important one. And I think, honestly, with the launch of the Gamescom trailer, which we will be getting to very, very soon indeed, I feel like there is a severe case of the Emperor's new clothes, with people saying that the graphics are much improved. Because honestly, I never thought the graphics were that bad to begin with. And if you compare the graphics that we're looking at now to the trailer that we'll get to in a minute, and feel free to zip backwards and forwards in this video to have a look and compare and contrast, I think the main difference is very, very clear, and it's that the later trailer, which I have already watched, sorry, there will be no first time reaction video on this channel, it has much more clearly defined shadows. And look at what we're looking at here. You can see shadows underneath the players, but because they're playing under floodlights, so you can see the shadows here of Neymar and the number 20, who he's completely flummoxed. I think that there is a case of people just weren't willing to see the shadows that were there. And to be fair, the shadows were probably a little bit too... what's the word I'm looking for here? See, I don't do videos for a couple of weeks, and I can't use the English language to its full potential anymore. I think they're too subtle. I think that's the word I'm looking for. So what we'll see when we go into the new video in a minute, and we'll pretty much watch it from beginning to end, but at the moment we're watching a supercut of all of the gameplay footage from the original roadmap trailer. I think what you'll see is actually the graphics aren't that much worse or better in the new trailer. It's mainly just the little bits of polish, like the pitches look slightly better because they've had more time to work on them, which is an easy fix. The players have clearly defined shadows, which gives them a better feeling of weight and another word I'm looking for, presence in the actual game. So we've come to the end of that original trailer. Now we're going to get straight into the new one. So we'll just click play on that video, and here it comes any second now. So the now familiar CFAX, everyone's seen the CFAX meme, colour scheme of eFootball. A rather unconvincing Lionel Messi there, and now we get into the actual trailer. Now again, like, the trailer was fairly light on real information. We have since seen a tweet from eFootball that give us a good idea of how the controls are going to be laid out. And for anyone that played the beta of New Football Game, which was released by Konami about a month ago or so, it will bear no surprise to you. But we'll get into this now, and we'll be able to see a little bit more, and straight away you see the very clearly defined shadows under the players. And I think it's because, as you can see from the daylight that is skipping through the stadium, we're playing during daytime, and so the shadows are obviously a lot more pronounced. Now, there's been greater YouTubers than I that have gone into the look of the gameplay, how the players look to be a little bit more alive, the gameplay looks a bit more fluid. Again, look at the shadows, much better weight and presence of players in there. But I have to say, like, the trailer, it didn't really give any more information, and honestly, I wasn't expecting it to give us any more information. I think that Konami are very much relying on the fact that when we actually get the controller in our hands and play the game, that is when it's going to do its talking. And traditionally, of course, that is always the time that Pez has done the talking. Look at that dummy there by Neymar. Slightly concerned by the fact, as we'll get to the controls, that the L1 button, which we use for lobbed passes and lobbed shots and lobbed through balls and all that kind of stuff, it's not really been mentioned as being there. Now, of course, that's an advanced control, and the schematics that they've released are for just basic controls at the moment. But I think that we could probably do with maybe a little bit more information as regards what you can and can't do with the controller. They claim in this trailer that you will be given full ability to play football the way you want to play. And we'll get into the tactics as they come up on screen. I am very, very happy with the new tactical creator. Some will say it's basically just a reskin of the old one. There are some people saying that essentially Konami have used Unreal Engine to port the current engine of PES 2021 and therefore 2022 over. It wouldn't necessarily be the worst thing in the world if they used it as a basis and then built on top of that. You know, they only had 2 years after all. Yeah, I think that most of this trailer, as we're looking at here, it's not going to be particularly innovative. It's not going to give us massive insight. I do like seeing under the skin of the game, however, seeing all of these little graphs and lines that show how the AI deals with attackers and defenders, the way that True Motion, or whatever the name of it is for Konami, has been implemented, the way that it calculates multiple different ways that you might make your player move, and it lines all of those animations up for you. That's pretty cool. I like that. Now, we're getting into the Playstyles part of the game here, of the trailer, I should say. And so we'll circle back around to what I was saying there, which is that I like the fact that instead of literally only having 2 options in the tactical menu, it was either possession football or it was counter-attacking football. Those were the 2 options that you had. Now you have long ball counter, you can play it wide. Now, I think these are pretty much simple settings, which you could achieve through multiple little toggles that you could do on the old game, but it's nice to have these more kind of like default settings, somewhat similar to when you're creating a tactic in Football Manager, and you can pretty much just say, I want to play Catenaccio football, I want a 4-4-2 system, tick all the boxes for me. And like for the most part, with a couple of little tweaks, those templates actually work quite nicely, and I'm hoping that these templates that they're instigating in eFootball are going to follow along the same lines. The irony is not lost on me as an Arsenal fan that they're using Arsenal to demonstrate long ball football. Sweet irony. We hate long football at Arsenal. Maybe not for much longer, because we look like we're going to get relegated. It's cool seeing all of these little animations with the extra information, drawing the lines of the Juventus players, letting you see the shape of the 2 banks of 4 and the long ball counter. It's interesting that long ball counter, they decide to play the ball along the floor just to prove that you don't have to hoof it upfield if you're playing long ball football. And of course, a team like Juventus have the ability to do that. Now, another thing which I did take from this trailer, and again, lovely shadows, good old job from Konami, actually listening to the feedback and showing that shadows are actually a thing in this game. The dual camera, just seeing a lovely little skip pass by Pepe there, and is that Weston McKennie? I think it could be, the American midfielder. I'm not familiar with Juventus' squad numbers. And here's that animation I was talking about, showing you all the different routes that your player can take. I did enjoy the fact that they make a thing of the dual camera, but they make it very clear, I think, from what they've shown us there, that it is a camera option. It can be turned on and off. Another thing I really like, as a counter-attacking football player myself, is the fact that you can quick start from any throw, any goal kick, any corner. It looks as though you can pretty much just seamlessly move into the next phase of play and catch teams on the break, which is fantastic, because a lot of the time the ball goes out for a goal kick and you're forced to wait for the reset. And that can be really, really annoying for people that enjoy counter-attacking football. I want to see more of that from Aubameyang this season, lifting his arms up in celebration. And that basically brings us to the end of the trailer. We are now going to bring up those control schemes. So those should be on your screen right now, and I'm not going to spend too long on each individual one, because they are essentially just mirrors of each other. You see the PS5 controller there shifts into the Xbox controller, and like the controls stay the same. So dash has been moved to the R2 or the R trigger now. It's interesting that there's a kick feint button, which is R1, on both controllers, or all controllers. Shield, of course, on L2, and then physical defending L1. Now, they don't mention anything about attacking controls for L1, so I hope that we retain the ability to play 1-2s, etc. Not really too much to worry about there, so we're just going to loop back into the trailer while I sum everything up. And really, it's just kind of like a message of calm. Look, the game, before too long, it's going to be in our hands. I don't think that there's any need to be too panicked, too vitriolic. I saw some people throwing shade at Konami because they announced that the trailer was coming on the 26th, and they were like, well, the 26th in what country? Because it's going to be the 26th in Japan in a couple of hours. It's like, are we really getting to the point now where we're just looking for any excuse to hurl abuse at Konami? And I understand the inclination to do so, because apart from a few people that actually work there, like, the management don't deserve our good faith. You know, the upper management of Konami have absolutely ruined that company over the last few years as far as making video games that we want to play is concerned. You only have to look at the treatment of Kojima to see that Konami really don't give a crap about games and about making good games that are finished and complete and are going to be enjoyable for everyone to play. You know, Kojima famously and unusually for a company man left and formed his own company, and that's not really heard of, particularly in Japan. Normally, you know, you're with a company and you're with them for life, but he was like, no, fuck this shit, I'm going to make my own company. So he did, and we got Death Stranding, which, if anyone's seen the trailer for the extended director's cut version of that, God, he's a mad genius, isn't he? But anyway, back to Konami. Outside of Pro Evo, or eFootball, I suppose we should get used to calling it now, they basically just make mobile games, so we shouldn't really be surprised that they moved towards multi-platform, where mobile was going to be a big fixture. The trick, though, is that I think that a lot of us have, for better or worse, and I'm not going to throw shade at anyone specifically, I'm not naming names here, I think there's a lot of people out there whose opinions do actually hold a lot of weight. I'm not one of them, of course. Look at my follow account. I've only got like 800 subs. I love you all dearly that have subscribed, though, and anyone that does want to subscribe, please do. But there are people out there that have a lot more sway than I do, and the moment that they have anything negative to say about something, everybody takes it as gospel. And I don't know necessarily if everybody knows how difficult these games are to make, what the ins and outs of making a game cross-platform are. You know, I think it's a fair assumption to say that mobile devices won't necessarily be able to contain as many transitions in animation. But I don't think it's fair to assume that you won't have the basic animations for, you know, doing things like Marseille turns and things like that. So really what we're talking about is the experience of next-gen consoles with all the bells and whistles, 60 frames per second, transitions that will melt your eyes out of your skull, versus the mobile game where it's very rudimentary, very basic, quite choppy perhaps, but it does still have all the functionality. Remember that to play on mobile, you have to be using a controller that is attached to the phone. You can't just use the phone by itself. Now that points to me that there's going to be parity across all devices. Now the other argument, of course, was, well, if there's parity across all devices, they're just going to drop all of the consoles and PC down to mobile. Well, again, like I said, animations don't necessarily make the game. You can very easily chop out a bunch of animations, you know, in my opinion. It's just that, you know, the ultimate complete experience is going to be on console. Of course, there's a lot still to find. There's a lot still to be announced. The absence of L1 attacking controls is something that I would like to get an answer sooner rather than later. Of course, Konami have decided that we're just going to release the basic controls for now. It's no real shock. They are essentially exactly the same controls that we had for the new football game beta. So yeah, I think if people are watching this and they're going to take anything away from this video, I would like it to be that we should all just chill, be a bit more relaxed about it. The game's going to be free at the end of the day, and I'm not saying that this is like a magic get out of jail free card for Konami. If they release an absolute stinker of a game, they deserve all the derision they get in the world. But give it a chance, let it come out, and let's see how it plays. And also, there is a part in the trailer where they say that they're going to listen to community feedback. So, remember this, as a free-to-play game, it is in their interests to keep people interested in the game and playing the game and selling them all of that DLC. You don't sell DLC to a game that nobody wants to play. And so, it is in their interest to listen to the consumer in a way that previous versions they've never had to worry about. You know, when a data pack has come out for a previous version of PES and everyone has absolutely slaughtered it because it changed the game in the worst ways, Konami didn't care because they already had your money. They weren't getting any more of your money until next year, and you bought that next game because you thought, oh well, they'll fix it for next year. That's not the case now. The free-to-play model means that they are stuck with the effects of their decisions, for right or wrong. And if they fudge this up, then we as players are going to walk away and we're going to pick up goals, or we're going to pick up FIFA, or we're going to pick up the other game that was announced at Gamescom. What was it now? LFU or something like that, I think it was called. Or UFL? UFL, that was it, I think. So there are competitors out there, and Konami know that they will lose market share if they fudge this up. So let's just give it a little bit of patience, a little bit of time. Let's not throw the toys out the pram. We all know that their marketing is terrible. So don't get wound up when they release something through marketing and it pushes the wrong buttons, or it doesn't include the information that we think that we need. At the end of the day, we're going to find all of these things out when it releases in early autumn, which, you know, conservative estimate, mid-September. Now, as of recording of this video, it's the 26th of April, not April, what am I talking about? It's the 26th of August. There we go. I'm not going to edit that, I'm just going to leave it in because I'm lazy. So we only have maybe 2 or 3 weeks to wait until the game comes out. Certainly, I think that we're going to find out what the launch date is. If we haven't already, if I've not completely missed that announcement, I think that we find out when this game releases in the next week or two. So let's just be a bit patient. Let's wait for it. Basically, what I'm saying is let's give Konami enough rope to hang themselves with. And let's not throw out too many opinions about something that we don't have in our hands yet. So all I'm saying, guard against the possibility of embarrassing ourselves and having to delete tweets that make us look a little bit silly. Anyway, that's going to do it for this video as far as talking about this trailer is concerned. The one thing that I needed to talk about is what's the future of the channel, because I'm sure that a lot of you guys have been sitting there thinking he hasn't put out a video in a while, and you know, I appreciate the worry of everybody that has messaged me and asked what's going on. It's a motivation issue, honestly. I fully intended to start putting out a Become a Legend series. I've not played Become a Legend seriously for a couple of years, and I started playing a practice save pretty much the moment that we finished the Master League save. And it is not a fun experience, certainly not for viewers. I think it would be incredibly difficult to make an engaging Become a Legend series. And so I've been scrabbling for ideas, and I wanted to throw this one out there. And I don't know how many people are actually going to be listening to this end of the video, so I'd like to throw this out there. Maybe I'll put out another video where I just ask this question directly so you guys can give your opinions without having to wade through an entire video of my opinions on the new eFootball game. But I know that this channel is primarily a Pro Evolution Soccer channel, but are you guys at all interested in seeing other games being played? Like, if I was to throw out some Let's Plays of some other random games, like, I don't know, Minecraft or something like that, is that something that you would necessarily be interested to watch? Let me know. Worst case scenario, you'll end up getting another Master League save off of me until eFootball comes out. But looking into it, I think Become a Legend, it seems like quite a tricky one for me to make an engaging series out of. I don't think it's necessarily for me. There are some YouTubers out there that I've watched that have done really good Become a Legend series, but I just don't think that it's the sort of series that lends itself well to me particularly. So probably it would be another Master League series, or I would mix it up and throw another couple of games in there. I have an insane mountain of shame where it comes to video games that I've bought and not even started to play. So there's plenty of games out there. I could certainly throw a few in, do a little rotation, like a week of this, a week of that, see what you guys like and what you don't like, and then we can go from there. But I don't know. Let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, and I've got no idea why you would after all the rambling that I've done, then feel free to like it and do subscribe. And I will hopefully see you rather soon. Until then, take it easy.